Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Ann Devere. This is Turn Your Show into Cash. This is episode 3. This one is all about blueprinting your show. This is the foundation. This is the foundation of your show. This is what we're going to decide what the purpose of your show is and how you're going to be showing up, your natural style, and a whole bunch of really cool things like identifying your most profitable product that you're going to be showcasing on your show. So there's some really great information I'm going to be sharing with you. So if you are joining us for the first time, we are in the middle of producing a reality TV show on how to plan, produce, and monetize your own web TV show. If you're online, if you're doing any kind of videos, if you're doing any kind of selfie videos, if you're posting on your blog, if you're doing vlogs, if you're doing coaching consulting sessions, everything you do can be turned into a web TV show. And I'm going to share with you how you can do that. Those of you who are part of the program, I hope you had an awesome time going through the training, and I hope you had a whole bunch of aha moments, and I hope you jotted them all down, because this is going to be it's all about brainstorming. It's about opening the possibilities for you. It's about being creative and planning. So this is it. This is it. This is going to lead you out there in a more concise way, in a more precise way. You're going to be more on point on what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. And so hold on to your seats, because for the next 10 weeks, we're going to go really fast. And by the time we get to the beginning of the year, you're going to be ready to launch your show. You're actually going to be monetizing before we get to the end of the year. The last 4 weeks are all about monetization. So this is very exciting. I'm very excited. So let's go ahead and let's see what's on the agenda for today. This is episode 3. So week 1, episode 1, it was all about choosing your on-camera role. The reporter, the journalist, guest expert, and the show host. Last week, we tapped into your logical mind and your emotional mind. The two of them have to collaborate, because your subconscious has to collaborate with your conscious mind for you to go really big and really step into your celebrity self, okay? Because you are a celebrity. You're on TV. You're on global TV. So this week, we're going to start the production. So I'm going to go over the shoulder here. Okay, it's all about blueprinting your show. And this is we're using a trifactor system. Get ready, get on a set, and get paid. So blueprinting your show, what we're going to cover today is your authentic style. We're going to be identifying what that is, so you can always be consistent. And formatting of your show, exactly what you're going to be putting in your 30-minute show. And your ideal guest experts. This is going to make it very easy for you to know exactly who's going to be on your show. And I'll share something really cool about this group. And identifying your ideal guest expert is going to have a huge impact later on, because it's going to bring you a lot of cool dollars. Okay, your most profitable product we're going to cover, as well as your most profitable audience. Now, I am going to be focusing on the first 3, your authentic style and formatting your show, and your ideal guest experts. Really what we're going to be drilling down, even though I will cover identifying your most profitable product and your most profitable audience. But this is more, this is very time consuming. So you're going to be relying more on your homework, the compiler tool that you have. And, so those 2, the last 2, your most profitable product and your most profitable audience, it's in your homework. You're going to be relying more on that. Okay, so it's all about getting your show ready. So let's go ahead and get started. We are, well, by the way we're going to do this is I am going to go do the overview, and the cast members will individually have 8 minutes to ask me a specific question, or share what they've done with their homework and ask me a specific question. And we'll do some laser coaching, and watch carefully, because you're going to be able to take some of the ideas that you hear and use them for yourself. All right, so here we go. And voila. Now, Everybody out there is talking. Listen to me. Hear me. Hear me. Don't you know I have everything you need? Well, guess what? Everybody's screaming at the same time. But somebody to hear you, you need to be saying something that they want. While we do want to, hear what experts are saying, we want to hear what's going on social media. We're interacting. We don't want everybody sending us information. Okay, social media is making it very, very noisy. So how do you rise above the noise? Well, you identify who it is that you are, so people know what to come to you for. We do want to get information from experts. We don't want everybody on our list. Let's say we have 1,000, 2,000, people, whether we're on LinkedIn or Facebook. So we don't want everybody who's a friend sending us their opinion, right? I mean, who has that much time? But we do want to hear from experts. So this is where we talk about who are you? What is your natural style? The reason you want to know that is because once you know what your natural style is, you show up consistently. This is where you're teaching people what to look to you for. Okay, so I have identified 3 core styles: the educator, the curator, and the critic. So in your homework, I have a lot more information on this. I dive down deep, so I'm going to give you the overview here. So the educator is the person who teaches. All of us are doing that right now, right? The curator is somebody who gathers information and shares it with a particular group. Think museum curator. When you go to the Museum of Natural History, you know exactly what you're going to see. You would not expect to see modern art in a Museum of Natural History, right? So you know where to go for specific content. So people should know where to come to for specific content with you. So if you're a curator. Now there's also the critic. The critic is the one who's an expert, and they actually share their opinion on a particular topic or on a particular content that they have. And this is really important because people need to know, again, where to come to you for. So for example, I am a curator, and then educator, and then a critic. So what did I just tell you? Well, here's what you need to know. All 3 personalities are in us. We all have a bit of a critic, we all have the educator and the curator in us. And so what's most dominant for you? For me, the curator is dominant because I get information from network television, I get information from WebTV, and I put in a little bit of business and marketing, and voila. And then I make something new and I teach. So I'm the curator. I gather and then I share. And so that's when the educator comes in. I create something new and I share. Yeah, I do have the critic in me, but I don't use it all that much. I will tell you what products and services I like and which ones really not to use, but it's not my natural style. So when I'm in conversation, I tell people, I go out there, I do the research, I gather everything, I do the tests, and I bring it all to you so you don't have to go out there and look for it yourself. So, make sense? So in your case, what is it that you do so people know what to come to you for? If you're an expert and you want to be the reporter, let's say, you want to be the journalist or the critic, we covered this in module 1, in episode 1. You can say, you know what, I'm testing, I read the latest, books, I test the latest programs, and I tell you what to buy and what not to waste your money on. Okay? So now people know to come to you. This is like we go to the movie critic to know what movies to go to and which movies to avoid. So identify who it is that you are. And again, in your homework, I go much more in depth with it, so it will be easier for you to identify. But those of you who are just watching the reality TV show, I hope you already got the one that you are, and just start internalizing and just making it a part of your conversation. Okay, so now I want to share with you the 3 different talk show host styles, because when you are on camera, when you have a TV show, you basically are going to be either a solo host, which is like just you sharing information, maybe interviewing other people. So it's your show, you do everything yourself. Now there's the pros and cons in that. You're the boss, you do everything yourself, but the other side, you're the boss, you do everything yourself. You're the chief cook and bottle washer, okay? So the good thing is you don't have to answer to anybody. The bad thing is you don't have to answer to anybody, So the other option that you have is to have a co-host. And With a co-host, it gets a little bit easier because then you have people working with you. You share the financial aspect of producing and promoting a show. You also share the creative ideas. It works beautifully if you have a great co-host, but if you're butting heads, it could be disastrous. Okay, so there's the pros and cons of that. And I'm going to give you an idea how to choose the right one. Okay, just sit tight. Uh, then the third one is the panelists. This is one with like the View or the doctors. You see, like it's a group of people, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6. The more you have, the more convoluted it gets, and more difficult to manage. So if you are a strong personality, you can actually dominate the group. But if you're not a very strong personality, you can be left behind. So there's a lot of balancing act. So what do I advise you to do? Start with the solo host, but bring in guest co-hosts. Okay, so this way you can bring in somebody to co-host the show with you. So everything is not on you, and you're preparing together, but it's not a permanent show host. So you do 1 or 2 shows with them to see how well you get along. And since you're not committing, you're just asking them to co-host it with you, there are no hard feelings. So you do this until you decide if you want to keep doing it by yourself, or then you run into somebody who you really have a great synergy with, and the show becomes very exciting. Maybe they become permanent co-hosts. Okay, so that's where you want to go with. Now, I want to dive a little bit into more clarity as to the journalist, the commentator, the critic role. Now, Dr. Oz is a perfect example. You know what? I'm going to go full screen over here. Okay, so Dr. Oz is a perfect example of the critic and commentator. He's always bringing up different products that he recommends, or his guest experts are bringing different products that they recommend, talking about what works and what doesn't work. So you can do, it's all about product demonstrations and product evaluation. So all of us should be doing that. For our audience, we want to be sharing our expertise so they know what to get. Now, as far as reality TV show, Dr. Phil is a reality TV show. He is doing what he normally would do in his office. He's working with his patients, right? We're just watching him do it. He just does what he does. It's a reality TV show. I find that most people think, when I say reality TV show, they think, oh, it's those people doing silly things, or it's the Kardashians or something, we're going in there watching people act silly. No, it doesn't have to be. It can be, but that's not what we're about. We're experts sharing information. So any kind of coaching, consulting, hot seats that you do, any kind of laser coaching, perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so I hope you guys are getting some ideas and jot things down. Now, the other thing that I want to share with you, again, I'm going very quickly through this because all of this is in your homework. So you can actually do, for your show, you can do remote interviews. You can do on-location interviews. Like right now, I'm interviewing people online. And also, when I go to seminars, I interview the speakers and the guest experts. You can definitely do that. Okay. The other thing you can do, you can have panel discussions. You can do experiential exercises where you're walking people through some kind of an exercise, assessment, and you can actually be doing group coaching online. Again, think Dr. Phil. He puts 3 or 4 people. He puts the entire family there, and he's coaching every one of them. Okay, and you can be doing one-on-one laser coaching. You can be doing product demonstrations, questions of the week. You have people sending questions. This is a really good way for you to know what your audience wants and create content at the same time. Okay, and live audience Q&A. This is really powerful, but you need to know how to manage the live audience. So this is when you get a little bit more comfortable, you're in control of your show, then you go into live audience Q&A, and of course, video tips. Everything that you do, you can be creating all kinds of video tips. 30-second video tips. We're actually looking for that because not only us, GVN TV and For Access to Experts, but pretty much all of them are replacing 30-second commercials with 30-second video tips. Everything is educational now. So you create some great video tips that can go on your blog, they can go on your website, you can go send them out in emails. It's all kinds of ways of using it. So these are some segments that you can easily create for your show. The combination makes it. So let me tell you what, a sample combination what a 30-minute show would look like. You can start the show with opening like a 1-minute intro. Hello, everybody. Give the name of the show, introduce yourself, and talk about what you're going to be talking about for those 30 minutes, like the way I opened up. This is what we're doing today. Here's what we're going to cover. And then you go into an expert interview on that particular topic of the show. You interview somebody, and then you do a 30-second video tip. This is your commercial. Now, guess what? Your 30-second video tip can be replaced with your sponsor's 30-second video tip. Are you getting this? We're already setting everything up for you to be able to take on sponsors and make money. All right, then you can be doing a product demonstration. This is a perfect time for you to showcase some of your products and services, or your sponsors' products and services. It's a great one. It's fun. It's experiential. It's exciting, and we'll be covering more about this in the monetization. But you can easily be signed up as an associate with Amazon, and then demonstrate some of those products within your show. When people click on it, they go to Amazon. Amazon will send you money. This is a monetization, but I'm planting the seed. I want you to know everything we do is designed to plan, produce, and monetize your show, okay? So then you go into another 30-second video tip, commercial time, and of course, then you go into the question of the week. This is really important. Again, I said it before, but asking people to send in your questions is going to make it easy for you to know exactly what content to focus on, because your audience will tell you what they like by the questions they ask. So encourage them to send in their questions and read them online, because most likely it's going to be really fun for them to hear their questions. And sometimes you can actually bring on the person live. You have them join you live, ask the question as you answer it. So you can read the question yourself when you're starting, but as you get more comfortable, you can actually have them join you live to ask the question. Get it? This is cool stuff, everybody. And then, of course, you do it with a 1-minute wrap-up. There goes your 30-minute show. All right, so is this exciting stuff or what? I hope you guys are taking down some really good notes, and because we're going to be opening up for questions in just a few. And so let's see now. We've got more stuff to cover with you. Ideal guest experts. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you how to pull together a list of who you should have on your show. Who would your audience want to know from? And I'm going to share something really, really important thing with you, which is very strategic. So I'm going full screen again here. Voila. So I figured I would use the example of the wedding industry, because everybody either has gotten married, they've gone to a wedding, they know all about a wedding, right? So if a wedding planner or somebody in a wedding industry decides they have a TV show on how to have the best wedding. Now, who would be the guest experts on that wedding show? Well, let's see. You start thinking about who supports the couple from the moment they decide to get married all the way to the wedding. Who supports them? Start jotting down a list. Well, I got a few of them right here. First, the wedding planner is right at the top of the list, because most people use a wedding planner. Okay, so there's the jeweler. Of course, you have to have the beautiful engagement ring, so the jeweler's right there, right at the beginning. And of course, the bridal shop, you got to order that dress a year in advance for the most part. And then there's the invitation vendor, so people know where to go, the videographer and a photographer. You got to capture those beautiful moments. And of course, the reception halls. You got a party hardy, of course. Now the baker, you got to have the wedding cake, and a caterer, and of course the florist. Nobody does a wedding without florist. And the limousine services and the travel agency. You got to go on that honeymoon. Of course you do. So you see, like, just by thinking about who would be supporting the couple, who would somebody be interested in getting information from if they were getting married? All the people I just mentioned. So do you see how easy it would be to actually have a waiting list of guest experts to appear on the show for the wedding planner? There are like tons of jewelers. So they could have a waiting list of 3 or 4 jewelers and the caterers and the photographers. You get it? there is no shortage. Now, here's one important tip I'm going to give you. This is something we're going to cover in Module 11. But guess what? The same people that your audience would want to hear from, those same people want to get access to your audience. So they can easily become your co-op marketing partners and your sponsors. Okay, hint, hint, plant the seed. I'm going to get back to this in Module 11. Okay, we're going to dive in deep on how you're going to be turning all this into cash. So now let me give you some ideas. Let me go back right over here and go to the next slide here. Okay, just to give you an example of if you're in, let's say, financial services, who would you have on your show? Well, a CPA, a banker, financial planner, debt resolution, credit repair, estate planning attorney, stockbroker, insurance providers, and there's like you go right into it, life insurance, health insurance, supplemental insurance. So do you see there is no shortage? All you have to do is think about who impacts the viewers that would be coming to you, whatever the topic. Now, I have in your homework area, I have broken down by industries. Like there's a whole bunch under the business services, who you would have as guest experts. The financial services, I just covered some of it. Healthcare services, home services, personal services. There's a whole list under each one, like about 10 or 15 of them for each one that you can literally start creating your wheel with right off the bat. Okay, my goodness, so much to cover. I really struggled today because there is so much content that actually goes into this module. This is like literally, I could be teaching this for an entire month by itself. So I'm going really fast here, and our cast members have already gone through the homework, and they're going to be sharing with us as far as what they plan on doing for each one of these categories and ask a specific question. But just I want to give you the overview because we're not going to be really diving in with the most profitable product and all that with the cast members. I don't believe we're going to have time, but let's see what questions they ask. And so basically, your most profitable product is you have to be versatile. Okay, this is I'm going to go kind of surface on this because this is pretty deep. So let's see if it's confusing. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll do a special training on it later, but let me go full screen here. Okay, so if you're going to do a TV show, how do you monetize a TV show? Well, from the TV show, you actually send them to your membership program. You can have a free membership program. So instead of sending everybody to your Facebook group or LinkedIn group or any other group that's online, instead of you populating somebody else's group who can shut you down at any time, you start growing your own group who you control. So you have a free membership program where people can watch the free episodes, okay? So now at the same time, you want to start monetizing. Well, what are you going to be showcasing on your show? Well, you can have a paid membership program that people from there, they can actually pay a small monthly fee to be able to watch all the things you have in the archives. And then you have an online program, like what you have right now. What I'm doing right now is Turn Your Show into Cash is my online program that people can actually, either go in a membership site or watch it for free right now, or get the program by paying a small fee for it. So, and of course, there's the high-end program. So you can decide to do coaching groups, so you can decide to do one-on-one clients or high-end membership, whatever it is. You can have it any way you want, but basically this is the core thing. For your TV show is going to showcase you, okay? And what you do, your TV show, the purpose of your TV show is to help you make money for your business, with your business. So you go to the free membership, then you get a paid membership, and maybe charging $9 a month or $19 a month just for everybody is low cost. Doesn't sound much, but if you work on this, you get 1,000 people in your membership in the next 6 months or so. That's $9,000 a month coming in without you doing anything. Okay, so it's something that grows. So you start with it. The online program, this is the easiest one to actually start making money with fairly quickly. So take your book or whatever program you have, put it online, and you start talking about what's in your program, using some of the exercises you have in your program in your show. So do you see how it's all related? because your show is designed to showcase what you do and your high-end program. Once people know who you are, it gets really easy for them to know, like, and trust you. Then they want to become your high-end clients. So I'm going to quickly share with you what I'm doing. It's the same thing that I'm telling you I'm actually doing. The GVA, the Global Visibility Association, the free membership. To get to the training program, you have to go through the free membership. And GVA Start, this is the basic one, is only $9 a month, okay? And Turn Your Show into Cash, that's the online program for $4.97. And then I have the GVA Superstar, then GVA Celebrity. There's different membership programs at different price points, and they include different things. So the different packages in, that's, we're going to high end. But all of this, the purpose of all this is all getting ready to go on GVN TV to showcase. Okay, I'm doing exactly what I'm telling you guys to do, and everything that's been put together, I didn't just make it up. This is what's working out there. This is what everybody who's out there doing well. That's kind of what they're using, a combination of different ways to get people, and the most profitable customer. I'm not going to go deep with it because this is really deep. But bottom line, your most profitable customer is hiding from you in plain sight. Who are they? Where are they? Well, the most profitable customer compiler tool is in this module, and it takes about an hour or so to go through it. It could take 2 hours depending on you, but once you go through it, it makes it really easy for you to identify what to do. I'll give you an example of why it's really important. The most profitable customer is one that not only likes your products and services. This is the customer that you like to work with in a place where you like to be, doing the things that you enjoy. And so it's a process to go through it. So I encourage you, please go through it, fill out the compiler tool, and really pay close attention to it. With the gentleman, the picture that I just showed you, actually, let me go back to it. Okay, this is Keith, a CPA. He had like a couple of young children. This is like a few years ago. I was working with him. He had a couple of young children, and when I was working with him, I was like, okay, why are you doing this? He said, well, I'm starting my own CPA firm. He specialized in taxes for business owners. He started it so he could bring his children the country club life. And I was like, why is that so important? Well, what happened was, like, when he told me the story, he actually grew up in an affluent neighborhood, and his parents were not rich. So in the summer, he was actually cleaning the pool at the country club while his friends were lounging around. Well, he wanted his own kids to be lounging around the pool, not cleaning the pool. Get it? Important. His wife was very important. So he is a CPA specializing in taxes, business taxes. So as soon as I took a look at where he was spending his money, he was spending a lot of money going to networking meetings and, all the stuff we do, all the rubber chickens that we eat for lunch, $30 here, $20 there, whatever, membership here. It added up to a nice amount. Well, he took that amount and went and got an associate's membership at the country club near him. So from then on, he was actually going to the country club with his wife and children, interacting with the CPAs at the country club, who would be his ideal clients. So do you see how that works? I call it bring the future to the present. When you know what you want to do and how you want to live your life, all of a sudden you know exactly where to go. His ideal clients were the CPAs of companies, and he wanted to take his kids to the country club, so we put the two together and took him to the country club. You get this? How powerful this is. I'm actually getting ready. I want to travel, and I want to be working with thought leaders globally. Well, I'm putting together the 1 year tour, the 2017 tour, going across the globe, turn your interviews into cash. So you see, I'm traveling and training, meeting the people I want to meet. So I'm putting that together. You can do this. What are the things you enjoy doing? Think about it and go ahead and look at the compiler tool. It literally walks you through the process. It asks you the questions. You go right through identifying your target market, your niche market, and your most profitable customer, and where and how you're going to be interacting with them, where and how you're going to be meeting them and serving them. Okay, so let's see. We're right on time, 3:30. So okay. Now I am going to go ahead and we're going to start our laser coaching session with our cast members. I hope you guys got a really good idea, of some of the things you wanted to do. I know I was going really fast, but this is meant to be an overview. Okay, we open the show with an overview of what it is, what the particular episode is about, what that particular module is about, and this one is all about deciding what your show is going to be and how you're going to be formatting it, who do you want to show up as in the show, and who is it that you want to interview on your show, and how you're going to be monetizing the show. You want to plan it right from the beginning, because then you're able to decide what episodes you're going to be having on your TV show that's going to be talking about the chapters in your book or the modules in your online program. So all of this has to be decided before you start producing the videos. So it's the blueprint. Before you build a house, you're going to have a blueprint. Otherwise, you're not going to know where all the rooms are going and how it's going to be built. Same thing with your show. You want to build it on a solid ground so you can grow with it and expand as you go. Okay, so everybody, now what we're going to do in this, now in the next segment here, we're going to go to each one of the cast members, and each one will have 8 minutes to share what they have done for this particular episode and what they've done, on this module, what they've decided to do with their show. And as they're working with on their homework, they've jotted down some questions to ask. Now, cast members, I don't know that you're going to have time for 2 or 3 questions, so I would suggest you ask the most important one, and then if there's time, you can ask your second one. Okay, so let's go. All right, I got to get my handy dandy timer here. Okay, so who wants to go first? Let me see. Barbara? You want to go first? Okay, you can. No. Okay. Okay. So you are on. Oh, wait. I need to go back into. I want to go into. There you go.
All right. So doing the review was really good. I went to, I say review because I've been through the course already, but so for me, I was reviewing the different formats, and for me, that was what I was thinking about the most. I already know that I'm going to be a solo host in my show, and that I already know who my customers or the people that I'm going to interview are, coaches. So I know that I'm going to be doing coaches, and I know that I'm going to be a solo host. That kind of answered those 2 questions for me. And then the last thing was to format. What kind of a format or segments do I want in my show? So I'm thinking of, and I'd like your feedback, Anne, and I'm thinking of doing a 1-minute intro. So I'm thinking, okay, sorry. Thinking of doing a 14-minute segments, like a show. It's a 14-minute show. And the reason is because I can combine a 14-minute show, 2 14-minute shows, and create a 28-minute show, which is what a lot of television formats are looking for, is 28 minutes. So I'm thinking to do 14-minute segments. That's really short. People won't get bored. And my 14-minute segments, I was thinking of breaking them down as a 1-minute intro to the show, probably 30 seconds to 1 minute. And then 2 minutes, one to introduce, like I'll have that canned reel like you have on the beginning of this show. And then I'll have, hey, this is Barbara Wainwright on bestofcoaching.com. And today we're going to interview. And then I'll talk about the person that's coming on. And I'm thinking of creating a little sizzle reel for that person so that we can see who they are and about their life. And then from there, I was going to do interview probably about 9 minutes long, and then have a 30-second tip or commercial, and then a 2-minute wrap up, just saying, you have any last thoughts you'd like to share with our audience? And this has been Barbara Wainwright and whoever my guest is, and we want to thank you and say goodbye. So that's what I'm thinking as far as my show format.
Okay, so I do have a couple of thoughts. First, thank you for bringing up that most TV shows, they want 28 minutes, and some of them, and I'll explain to you what that is. Some TV shows actually will only give you 26 minutes of your own. What it is that the network, they put commercials before your show and after your show. So when they give you 28 minutes, that's kind of standard, and that's what we ask for GVN TV as well. So that means you have 28 minutes to put in your show. And Barbara, yes, you can absolutely do two 14-minute shows, but I am going to suggest that rather than do a 9-minute expert interview, do it a little bit shorter and put an experiential segment in there that's going to be an exercise from your certified coaches training.
Okay.
Because it's very important for people to know what you do. And you can say, well, this exercise is from the coaches training, and this is some of the things we do. So you're giving people content that lets them know, it's like, you know what, this is how we train some of the coaches. So try this. This will work for you because this is what we use to train the coaches. At the same time, while giving value, providing a lot of value, or real value, you're training them, they're also going to be able to get a little taste of your program, and then they might want more of it, which they will. Pretty much everybody who's a coach, they want to be certified, and there's all kinds of things you can do. And there's so many coaches programs out there right now. It's very confusing. Yeah. So you want them to sample yours, and in yours, while you're talking about, you need to be able to say, we're certifying coaches, and in our program, you actually get university accreditation. So even if people don't want university accreditation, that validates your program, saying, this isn't just any old coaching program. This is actually good enough to get university accreditation. So as you're talking about the training, that's going to make people more excited about doing the exercises you're sharing with them, and at the same time going, I feel really strong about this. Because if you don't do this, then your show is going to be always focusing somebody else and answering somebody else's question. But you need to have something of yours. You need to have your own territory within your show.
That's really brilliant advice, Anne. Thank you so much for that, because you're right about that. If I'm focused totally on the other person, then I'm really promoting everything that they're doing. I'm not really promoting what is in my heart, which is helping people learn how to coach so that they can coach others and live a great life after that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes so much sense. Thank you. Thank you. That was really valuable feedback for me. I appreciate it.
Well, you're very welcome. You have another 3.5 minutes. Is there another question?
I don't think so at this time. I was looking at the matrix of the wedding where you had all those people around of who you'd want to talk to. Okay, because I'm focusing straightly on coaches, maybe that menagerie of all the people that support coaches, like there's coach, how to get clients and that type of thing. Maybe I could have little snippets or tips from that circle of people that support coaches, so that when people are watching the show, they can see the different different kinds of support that's available to them out in the coaching world. So, yeah.
Well, you can actually, here, let me get back on. There we go. You can actually take it to the next level. And I know you want to be interviewing your coaches on your show, which is wonderful to be showcasing your coaches. Now, you got to remember that you're going to have an audience of people who want coaches, which would be really good. This way you're introducing the coaches you're certifying. But at the same time, you're going to have an audience of coaches. How are you going to be supporting the audience of coaches? You need to bring in people who work with coaches as well.
Got it. Yes.
Okay, so that's why it's important for you to have that aspect of it in there. Like bring in people, like if you're a coach, how do you get yourself out there? And remember, in your show, you basically are encouraging people to take their expertise and share it with the world, coming on on a platform as a coach. So you're opening people's minds up to being a coach. So if I'm sitting there and I'm not really thinking about being a coach, and all of a sudden you're saying, yeah, and you know what? Or not by name, I say, listen, if you have a passion for something and you share your knowledge with people, guess what? You can be a coach. You can do what you love, share it with people, and help them at the same time. And guess what? It's easier than you think to grow a coaching business. And my next guest is going to tell you the fundamentals of blank. Okay.
Yes, yes.
So this way the audience that's there, they can pick a coach that you're introducing them to, that you've certified. At the same time, you're expanding their mindset and planting a seed of them becoming a coach themselves, just like the one you're interviewing on the show. You can even turn around and say, you know what, you're watching this, I'd love to interview you on my show sometime soon.
Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. Thank you so much, Anne.
You are very welcome. Okay, so are we good, or do we have another question?
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so let's see. I'm going to go. Who wants to go next? Navi, I believe you were waving the piece of paper before. Were you trying to get attention to get on? No. Okay. Okay. Raise your hand so I know you want to be next. Okay, Aziza, hold on a second. I will let you know when to start. Okay, you are on. Go ahead.
Hi, Anne. Thank you so much for that amazing insights that you have given. So I was putting in so much of notes when I was going through the materials that you gave, the homework, and it kind of got me into thinking the time that I went to the local TV channel and asked them to host my reality show. And right now, it's like suddenly it's becoming the thought of me like doing it as a possibility has showed up right now. I'm talking about 5 years ago, okay? This is like serious stuff. So my question will be like, now I have a situation where my target audience, I have two groups of them. I have the trainers, coaches, and mentors who I want to bring together so we can collectively serve the small, medium enterprises in Asia. So this two dynamics is something like, do I take it like a series of shows, or do I do it in terms of like separately? So that's my question, I think, primarily, if that's clear to, if I'm making myself clear.
Actually, if you could clarify it, I would appreciate. I'm not clear on the question.
Okay. So you see, my first target audience are the trainers. My platform is to bring trainers, coaches, and mentors together so that we can collectively serve the small, medium enterprises in Asia. So right now, let's say we would ask me what I'm doing. Okay, so we do have programs that we serve all these trainers and coaches in Asia to come up to a new space of a powerful way of reaching out, so that they can become more empowered trainers and coaches and consultants. So we have programs for that. So I was thinking, first it was about me doing those shows where my clients are the trainers, coaches, and mentors. Then I bring in all these experts, these global mentors, that even those that we see here with you, to be able to, have in my shows. So that was my first thought. And then I have the other thing that's coming up, which is like the SME makeovers. So where these trainers, coaches will, be in my show to do reality SME makeovers, like make small segments of reality makeover shows.
Well,
is that too confusing?
No, I got it, and I think you should do both. So the way I see your show is because you have a global audience. I mean, you're working with small and medium companies in Asia. I know that you live in Singapore, and you have different corporations and companies, training companies you're collaborating with in India, as well as Malaysia. So you're very, you have quite a network. So I think you should combine the two, what you were talking about. It's not one or the other. You should bring on and interview the experts, the group, your trainers. You should interview each one of them, and at the same time, what you can do is you can have each one of them do a little reality TV segment, like a mini makeover. You can show them. It could be a recorded segment that when they're doing a coaching call with somebody, or if they're going in a place of business, like let's say it's a business consultant, they go to the place of business and they look at what they're doing, and they look at the operation, and they make the adjustments and tell the business owner what to do. I used to, when I was setting up quality assurance systems, I used to walk into a factory, I used to walk around, assess, ask questions, and based on what I saw, I would make the assessment, and I would sit down with them and say, okay, these are the changes you must make. That's a reality TV show in itself. So what you can do, you can have one of them or whoever the consultant is go into the place of business and film everything and you have the recording in your library. And then you take a segment from there, and while you're interviewing them, you can ask them what are some of the things that they recommend, and they will share. And they say, you know, we have a segment over here with you working with this business owner where you suggested doing just that. So you can take a segment from that full day, you know, training that they did or you know, consulting that they did, and use it. Now here's the other part. If you have that in your library, not only you can have that in your paid members area for advanced training, but you know they can also have it in their program. Okay, do you see how when you do one thing, you use it in multiple places? So you should have each one of the experts that you are bringing on talk about what they're doing. You can interview them and share their knowledge and share a segment. So you, at the same time, want to have what I was just sharing with Barbara. You want to have a segment where you are sharing your knowledge because you're the one who's bringing all this together. You're like the orchestra leader. You know, there's the full orchestra. Each one of them does something, but you are the conductor. So you want to be able to also share. Say, you know what? If you're a small business owner, you know, here the reason I brought all these experts to you is because you need this, you need that, you need that. So right there, you are positioning yourself as the one to go to. If they want to have a fully functional business, you can say, yeah, you need the business consultant, you need the marketing expert, you need the social media expert. So now all of a sudden you are the business consultant they need to come to and have you do the assessment if that's what you want. Make sense?
That's right. Yeah, it makes complete sense. And I love it that, you know, while you were speaking to Barbara about the experiential part of the work, right? So it kind of like came in at the last minute for me to like include where the people, when they are listening in, they get to experience what I am up to and how I can add value as well. So because at the end of the day, it was like these trainers and coaches, most of the time, what they are experiencing, they have a lot of tips, they get a lot of insight, but the business part, you know, the holistic perspective of the business, not just marketing, is always a miss. Like how big they want to grow the business, what is their exit strategy, and how are they, you know, other than monetizing it, how do they take it into a legacy mode and, you know, even list the company if it's needed. So that kind of dynamics is always a miss in the industry. So I was thinking to position ourselves with so many mentors, you know, supporting us in the platform. So that would be awesome. Yeah, I'm excited. Actually, I would like to add on one more thing, because when I was doing the homework, I was so confused with this educator, curator, and critic. I'm like, oh my God, that sounds like I must choose one. It's like I can't do more than one. Then you clarified earlier this segment today that, and then it gave me so much more clarity that, yeah, I can do a mix, and I love it that the critic part can come in, because at the end of the day, you know, we want to really get the best to the trainers, coaches in the world, because in Asia, it's like very much, you know, people are not aware of people like you guys. I mean, like, they're not aware of where to find the best, because only those who show up here in whatever shape, size, or form, no comments on that. It's just how they show up. And it's always, you know, the rah-rah that's been making the call of it. So we want to get people grounded and to get really powerful. So being a critic for such programs is something that really excites us. Yeah. So that really gave me a lot of insight. Thank you for that.
You are very, very welcome. Okay, so let's see now. Who is next? I need a hand waving. Somebody, or I will pick. Okay, let's see. Marie. Okay. Wait, let's see. Hold on. We will go just past it. Okay, Marie, you are on. You are muted. Unmute yourself, please. No, you are still muted. Look at the bottom of your screen on the left side. You will see the microphone symbol, and just it should have a red bar across it right now. Okay, look, just click on your image, so your image is big, and look at the bottom. Look at the bottom of your image. You will see a microphone symbol with a red arrow across it. It's still muted. Okay, you know what? We're going to just see if you can figure out how to unmute that while I go to somebody else. No, you're still muted. Let me come back to you. Tony, I thought I saw you wave. Did you want to be on, Tony?
Yeah, I can be on, Anne.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, you are on.
Okay. Well, I just loved what you were teaching before about how to create the segments in the show, and that gave me some really good ideas for what it is that I might do. So my thought is that I'll do an intro, an interview, a 30-second, advertisement of some kind, either for my own services or someone else's, depending on potentially for the guest that's on the show. And then, and I'm assuming that that's the sort of thing that you could perhaps, like if someone has got a program or whatever, you could do like an affiliate agreement. So anyone that signs up for their offering as a result of the show, that's another potentiality for monetizing. And then the other piece that I want to do is either a demonstration or an exercise, like you were saying with Barbara, having it be an opportunity to showcase my own tools and talents. I think that's going to be an important piece as well. And then I like the question of the week as well. So I kind of want pretty much everything that you've suggested.
Well, wonderful. Any questions about it?
I do have a couple of questions, actually. One of the things that I'm curious about, like at the moment, the clients that I work with typically are either entrepreneurs, public speakers, or actors. They seem to be the subsets of humanity that are attracted to me in the work that I do. And so there's kind of a bridge between the entrepreneurial with the speakers and then the actors. But I'm kind of curious to know what your thoughts are in terms of what might be the best audience to gear towards.
Well, I would have to ask you quite a bit of questions. Did you go through the compiler tool? The most profitable?
I have not had the opportunity to do that yet, so I can do it. That.
Yeah, it will answer a lot of your questions. So basically, what it boils down to is who is it that you really want to work with. You can have a few different niche markets, but you really want to be very clear. Is it men? Is it women that you want to work with? And what is it that they do that excites you? I mean, what about them? What are some of the things they're doing that excite you, that you want to work with them? Because you work very closely with people. So if you enjoy the work that they do, and then you actually pick people you enjoy working with, and that's part of the compiler tool. You get right down to the personalities and everything within that, so you're able to pinpoint who they are. I mean, when I'm working one-on-one with people, we actually get right down to identifying what they look like, and then be very clear, because when you're connecting with the camera, this is going to come in very handy in module 7. When you're actually connecting, you need to be seeing somebody that you really enjoy working with. You have to be visualizing. That's how clear you have to be. Who is this person that you're excited with? Where are you interacting with them? Just like the story I shared with you about Keith being in a country club and watching his kids play by the pool while he's meeting his next great CEO, the big client is going to be meeting. Something like that is very exciting that you want to do, and you will be investing time in growing that particular niche, that super niche, the most profitable customer. So the reason I'm going into more in-depth description of this is because once you choose, you may decide that you like working with actors more than speakers, let's say. Okay. So what that means is that you can actually dive in deeper into the actors world. You can actually be going to red carpet events, and you can be going to VIP dinners, and you could be the actors a coach. You could, and you could actually be doing reality TV show, following them around as they go into their, let's say, auditions, or when they're shooting their show. There's so many fun things you can do with that. And you can do the same thing with speakers. You can be traveling with them and show how you're working with them just before they go on stage. Or you could be at your home. You don't have to travel with them, and you have them call last minute just before they go on stage, and you're giving them the last minute, pep talk. And I know that, when you and I were talking, you said that, this one particular one just actually called you and said, please tell me, I'm getting ready to go to this big meeting. Tell me what to do. So things like that, where it's a reality TV, where it showcases you. And you don't necessarily have to be showing what they're saying, but it could be the conversation that you're having. There's all kinds of ways of including that in there that makes it exciting. The reason the reality TV aspect is important is because then we see the emotion on your face. We feel it right along with you, and we see the impact you're having with, on the people that you're working with. That's why reality TV is very important, because we're in there. We're emotionally invested without risking our safety. And you get, like, for example, the TV show Survivor is very popular. It's been on for so many years. These are people who are going in the jungles, and they're playing all kinds of games with no food, whatever it is, for days at a time. Like, I know I'm never going to do that. There is no way I'm going to do that. But it's very exciting to see how creative people can get, and what they go through, how they break through stuff, and the resilience they have. We love watching other people succeed. We love cheering them on. That's why we love sports. We vicariously are superstars through them. So both of the niches that you're picking, the speakers as well as the actors, you have so much content, and you are so magnetic, and you're so engaging yourself. I can totally see you doing an awesome show. Yeah, totally. I can't wait to see your show.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it, actually. And I've already been having conversations with people that are, speakers and folks that I know, people that have either been clients or colleagues, saying, okay, I'm doing this in January. Are you interested? And of course, everyone's raising their hand. So I think I'm going to have a lot of really great content.
Yes, you are going to have a lot of great content, and once we actually outline the entire show, we're just planting the seeds right now.
Right.
But once you decide the information I'm giving you, I want all of you, by the way, use the templates I'm giving you, because what I'm telling you have the main ingredients of what you need to make it a successful show. Then you can add different aspects. So if you see your question of the week is getting a lot of play, don't do the question, do the top 10 questions of the week. So whatever people want more, give them that. And something isn't working, you replace it with something else. But what I'm giving you has the combination of bringing in the guest experts, so it's not just you all the time. It takes some of the pressure off. Plus it's more engaging for the viewers. No matter how wonderful we are, not for nothing, Oprah is very engaging, but I'll be damned if I would go and just watch if she was the only one on screen every day. You wouldn't find me watching her. Once or twice, maybe, but not every day. But the guest experts that she would bring on, or going on the road with her best friend and watching. It was exciting to watch her wake up in the morning with no makeup on, all that stuff. Being courageous to be herself. A lot of people are afraid to go out there without makeup because of various reasons. But look at this woman. Everybody knows her. She's waking up with her hair a mess and no makeup on. It's like, wow, she can do it. I can do it. So if you are able to walk people through breakthroughs, That's what you do. You work with people and help them have breakthroughs. So your TV show should be designed to showcase your work in a way that's fun, exciting, entertaining, and educational and profitable. And yes, you can actually, everybody that you interview, you can be an affiliate with them. And I will say this later on when you're shooting, but do not have your experts give the website on video, because what happens is that more often than not, the website is going to change, the link is going to change. And I made that mistake with Access to Experts. I have a whole bunch of great interviews, and they all gave their website address. And now we have to go and do some serious editing, or some of the websites aren't there. So what you do is say, take the link below. And what that means is that you can take that link and put in your affiliate link when they click through to go through. If the product page changes, if the event changes or whatever, all you have to do is change the link on the video.
That totally makes sense. And I just want to introduce you to a potential co-host. This is Bear.
Very good.
He jumped up on my lap.
Very good. I think Bear would be a very welcome co-host. Okay, so are we good? You are good?
Yes, I'm great. Thank you.
Okay. So let's see, Marie, let's get back to you. Let's see if we have you unmuted. Where's Marie? I don't. Oh, there you are. No, you are still muted, Marie. Now you are muted. Now you are unmuted. Yes, you are on. No, I still can't hear you.
And I think Marie might need to select her audio source from next to the microphone.
Okay. So,
do this. Is that better?
Yes, we got you. Marie?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just, I can do it with this. Okay. All right. Perfect. Yes, thank you for, this was very, very helpful and very inspiring to listen to the others, their questions and their formats. So the show I want to do is just called the Marie Diamond Show, because I have so much different energy systems that I want to use all at the same time. And so it's really focused on transformation. And I do already a lot of video webinars, and I feel like it would be really nice to have a little bit of a similar format, but adding something to it. So I thought about doing focus, like the program of the 28 minutes, to do like a 2-minute intro, of course. Then I would like to do like a 5-minute topic, like a monologue, like if you go to the late night shows, they have like a little monologue, but it will be on a certain topic that from what I've seen, questions that are coming in that people are really focused on, could be connected with something that happens at that time in the world, something that I see comes up regularly in the conversations I have with people. Then I would do like a 1-minute video tip. And then I would like to do, bring in a guest in the sense of, like a question of a live audience. So I would bring in somebody that has a question, and I would do a little makeover. So as I'm tuning into their energy, I would kind of see what I can support them with, both on inner transformation or looking at giving some tips on their environment or how they work and relate with people. Then I would like to do a 1-minute video tip. And then I would like to bring in one of my colleagues that I would interview. So in a way, I would be an educator, right? But I also would like to bring in a co-host, like a 10-minute co-host, or even an 8-minute, depending how much time I have, where I would interview a colleague, where I would like to have a little transformational conversation with them, in the sense that something that I can ask them, how do you want to impact more people? Because I want to talk about transformation, but also about impact. Like, what do they do to impact themselves, or bring their impact to the world in a better way? or to do perhaps something in transformation for themselves. It's not because we are teachers and coaches and mentors that we don't have anything in ourselves to transform. And so to have that conversation with them, like, what are you working on right now, to show the vulnerability of the teachers and the mentors, and then also even guide them towards, okay, so you are now changing that in yourself. How do you see the impact of that? But also to look at what is, living in countries, because I'm working with different countries, different cultures worldwide. It's like, what is living in the Latin American community? I will bring in somebody from Latin America, or when I'm talking to somebody from Asia or somebody from Europe, like, how is transformation in that country? How is transformation there? So that I would like to, bring that forward, because I'm very passionate about that. And then I would do like a 2-minute ending. So I would like to bring in, perhaps it's too much. That was my question to you, if it's not too much. But I just don't want to be focused just on an interview, because I know right now people need like a fast page, a fast change of things. So I don't know if it's too much. That was my question for you.
So, okay, well, first, I love the monologue idea for you. Just because of what's happening around the globe, and there's so many things you can talk about. That's very interesting. Like you said, what's coming up. So I love that idea for the 5 minutes. And I also love the idea, especially since, the TLC is Transformational Leaders Council, you have access to the transformational leaders. And I love the idea of you talking with them. And these are the people that we look up to. We know them globally. We know who they are. And for you to say, hey, what's going on with you? Where are you right now that you're changing something in you? And that actually would show us that it doesn't make a difference where somebody is. There is always some transformation going on. We always have some things that we're working on. As DC Cordova is like, one of the things she always says is that my deservability, level, and so things like that. Now, actually taking that on, and I know she's, part of Transformation Leader Council and a friend of yours, and so many other ones that I know are amazing. So I love you taking that spin on it, because you're coming from a place of what's happening around the globe energetically, and you're giving your feedback based on what you're getting. So right away, you're setting the tone of what's happening, what you're suggesting to do, and then I also love the idea of you doing the maybe the 5-minute laser coaching, like you said, checking the energy and working with somebody. So yes, I could see you doing that 5 minutes there and doing an interview with a transformational leader and doing another 5 minutes working with somebody. You have that. I love the idea. And within that, in between, you can do the video tips from even from the leaders who want to promote their latest book, or things like that, because they will become your commercials and sponsors. So no, I don't think it's too much. What I do think is that you're going to have to start taking a look at how does that look? Where and how are you going to be interviewing this transformation leaders? I know that you're going to Mexico for the next council. Well, maybe you can go there and do 10 or 20 interviews, and you have a library of those interviews. And one of the things that, that I'm doing, and I would suggest you do too, when you sit down with somebody to do an interview, do a 15-minute in-depth interview, and then do a 3-minute interview. So what happens then, the in-depth interview goes in your members area, and the 3-minute one goes in your show. So you can actually do the 3-minute. I always do the 3-minute after I do the 15-minute, because what happens is that a lot of times when they get comfortable within the 15 minutes, and they will say something that maybe they're not even expecting, that really jumps out at me, and I'll say, you know what, that's what I want to do the 3-minute on. So that's when I decide what I want to drill down in. And you're very intuitive. You're going to be able to pick up with something that I think is going to be key. So do it that way. I found better results come. Do the 15 minutes, they go in depth, they relax, and then you pick one topic and do it. So now you're building your library and the segments for your TV show at the same time. without having to go back into the 15 minutes and then spend money editing the show, because then it saves you time, it saves money, and and your library is already built. You have the short and a long version, so that gives you a lot of flexibility. So when you have maybe a show where you want to even put in a long 15-minute one because it's so good, or mix and match. Make sense?
I totally love that idea, because I can imagine that there will be one thing that I'm like, okay, this is like such a, a nugget, golden nugget that I really want them to go deeper into. And then you have the rest, and you have it in the library for the more paid membership, for example. Then you have some more information there for them.
Yes. So does it feel right to you? Are you good with that?
Yeah. Yeah, I like that very much, and it's the whole thing about the transformation conversation I want with them. What I have with the people in TLC or the European Council, and many friends worldwide, when we touch base, I love that we can share a little bit about what's going on, and this is one of the things I always have seen, that people are not sharing enough, and I always try to do that with my students and clients. Is like, I have my own transformational journey, and it's good for them to know that the teachers are also still on the journey, because that's where they learn the most from.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's what I experience.
Yeah.
But people need to know, like, when I talk to them personally, I'm like, okay, we have a conversation, what's going on, or like, oh, I'm going through this and this, and that's where we learn the most from. And that's what I want to share too.
Yeah, no, agreed. It's very, very powerful to be able to see the strength in somebody who is strong enough, but they don't have to hide their vulnerability. It's very empowering for us, and it also is very engaging. We get tied in and attracted on a heart-to-heart level because they're being so authentic. So I love that idea, and knowing the people that I think you're going to have a lot of people watching the show over and over again, coming back to watch the same episode over and over again, because when they see somebody that they're really admire, that they look up to, and they see him so real and so vulnerable, and saying, you know what, he's going through his stuff, I just went through it, or I'm going through it, or she's going through whatever it is, it's going to be very empowering. I love the way you want to do it, and yes. Yeah, don't switch it. Just stay on that. I just love everything, the sequence, the way you want to do it.
Okay, great. Thank you. And that's why, I'm still about the title a little bit like just the Mary Diamond Show, or just called the Mary Diamond Transformation Show. I mean, that's kind of where I'm still a bit, or it could be just in the tagline, I'm talking about, something more.
Well, I would say just call it the Marie Diamond Show, because then you can do anything you want with it.
Okay.
So you don't have to put in the transformation, because anybody who knows Marie Diamond, they know it's all about transformation.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would just stay with Marie Diamond. Your name is known worldwide, and so it's
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so let's see who we have. Nabi, you are it. Well, I do believe you need to unmute yourself first. There you go.
There we go. How are you?
I'm just fabulous. How are you?
I am brilliant.
Yes, you are.
I was going to use an Australian euphemism, but I thought, no, I better not.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you what that is. We'll leave that when we're off the air.
Okay, good. So in everything that you've said, basically the things that I obviously identify with is being an educator and also critic. Educator, obviously, from the point of view of sharing my knowledge and experience and giving that to the people who need it. And then the critic from the point of view of interviewing and getting other people to come on board, give me their information, and then dissecting that and saying, look, that's good, here's my opinion on that, or other things like that. So there's opportunities for one-on-one, single interviews. There's opportunities for group interviews. What else? There's opportunities to get out to events and expos. So, you know, get out there with the camera, go live, and you even have the recordings from that and bring them in and say, well, look, you know, we were out at the Money Show this week. We were out at Women and Money or Money and You, or, you know, whatever it is. So, and then bring those back into the program and then even talk about that or interview people from that. The question of the week, you know, stuff like that will pop up from people who are watching the program. One of the things that I've always considered is getting people involved and trying to keep them involved in the program rather than just watching. And so by doing that is offering competition and prizes and things like that. So you could have a monthly results session. So the person who's done or achieved the greatest result would win a prize. So, you know, that keeps people involved. As far as product to sell, obviously I've got my, I have 2 software programs that I would sell, the flagship one, and then if they don't buy the flagship program, there's the downsell, I suppose. There's the books that are for sale. There's consulting and speaking. So because my market is sort of split between wholesale and retail, wholesale being financial planners, mortgage brokers, accountants, anybody in the financial planning type field, and talking with them about the certification program. So that comes into play, and that then educates them on going out and speaking to their client base. So for me, leverage is a very important thing. Rather than me being the one person to get my program out to everybody, it's a matter of me using a whole range of people to get the program out there. And they're already known to their clients, so it's much, much easier than me knocking on the door. And then, of course, with the retail side of it, my target audience is predominantly women, 47 years of age. I don't have a name, but it's still, you know, female. But the other part of that target audience is also 30 to 55-year-old people who have a family, starting a family, young family, already have children, have a mortgage, have debts, and are struggling through life financially. Money makeovers on the program, and I think that's about it.
Well, that's that's a lot, and I know you went through the compiler tool, didn't you?
No, that was just from this session.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, when did you go through the compiler tool? Okay. So, well, first let me ask you: do you have a question? There was a lot that you shared.
Am I doing the right thing?
Okay. Yes, you are doing the right thing, but you have to get more organized. Like, for example, the thing I would suggest you do is next to each category, everything you described, put in like a time frame, like, you know, how many minutes do you think that would take to do that particular thing, and what is your show needs to get more structured. It could be that you can actually have one show do, let's say, just do the interviews and just you do the exercise and you work with somebody while they're creating their financial plan using the software. You could do an actual demonstration, like, you know, reality TV at that point, sitting down with somebody and say, okay, what is your budget? Let's work on it. You can actually take maybe 6 people that you're working with and then sit down with them, go through the software that you have, plug everything in, and this is what they have, and you put together a plan with them. And then for the next, let's say, 6 months, you kind of check in with each one as to where they are, what they're doing. Okay, they don't necessarily have to be on the show, but it could be like, where are they now? And then at the end of the 6 months, it will be like the end of the makeover. You can have all of them in there, and they could tell you where are they with their debt, what's happened, you know, as far as the finances, and, you know, everything, whatever you planned with them. So that would actually be a really good one to follow through, because what that's going to do is it will show people that the financial makeover is not a 1-episode thing. So then you would kind of keep them engaged for 6 months, kind of do what they do. So part of why I'm doing this program with all of you on every week where you're asking the questions is because there's so much more that comes up in here, the interaction that I couldn't possibly explain on the online program alone. So this is more engaging for people. You're asking some of the questions that they're thinking about that I could not put in a online training alone. So when it comes to finances, we have a lot of questions. Finances are very scary, especially when we're in debt. It just doesn't, we don't know if we're doing the right thing. It's a lot of things. So watching you work with people, and I would suggest you choose maybe 6 different ones, like somebody who's a single mother with kids, another one who's married, maybe a newlywed couple who are trying to figure out. So like have different walks, people in different walks of life and different places, so people can find somebody that they can relate to and follow for the 6 months. So that would be one thing that you put a little bit in each episode. Now you could have a whole another TV show where you're bringing in, like you said, for example, a financial planner who has a huge list, and you're working with them and discussing with them why the software and how it works, what it is. So this way, you're actually showcasing them something they can use with you in it, a video with you in it, and send it out to their people. So it's a leveraging tool for them while providing more support for you, because if you're working with them, they're going to be supporting those people. You don't have to support. So it's a total win-win. But all the things that you described, it's too much to do in one show. So you can decide, like, you're going to have 2 or 3 different formats. And then I would suggest do 2 different ones and test it and see what happens. You're going to see some episodes really coming together nicely. Some of them are going to be too big of a headache to do. The editing is going to be a nightmare. The logistics are going to be a nightmare. You're going to say, no, that's not worth it. I'll do it one time and I'm done with it. So as you start producing, which you're going to be doing, once we get this going and this is fine-tuned, you're going to start doing that. I have a feeling some of the ones that you have on your list are just going to fall off. Or you can just do a special once in a while on a particular topic. The entire show would be that one thing.
Like Elvis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not quite.
So makes sense? I mean, does that resonate with you?
Absolutely. And look, I totally agree. I mean, they're all ideas that, can all go up on the board and be chucked around. I watch people like Grant Cardone runs 5 programs a week, and each one is totally different on each day. And other guys that I know that are getting on there, with the Facebook Live and everything like that. And I think the guys on the Facebook Live are perhaps struggling to come up with a bit of change for each program, but and the way that they're trying to overcome that is by interviewing people. I think a couple of them are learning pretty quickly they need to have a show flow and need to set aside the minute for the introduction, the timing for the commercial, and that sort of thing. So there is a heck of a lot to learn, even in a half hour.
Yeah, there's a lot of time. And see, a big part of this is that once you start building your library, this is the important part. Because I don't care how exciting you are, you can't just be doing Facebook Live. Facebook Live is not a TV show.
No.
Okay, it's not. And well, I can tell you, I'm testing a software where I'm actually broadcasting pre-recorded video on Facebook Live. Okay, I'm in the process of testing now. So basically, I'm going to be broadcasting the Access to Experts interviews we've already done on Facebook Live. The Access to Experts show that I'm doing now, getting ready to format the way I'm telling you to do. I'm going to be broadcasting it live on Facebook Live. But what you're going to be seeing on Facebook Live, which is already happening, people are not tuning in the way they were because everybody's like, you get a notification, I'm on Facebook Live. They're not doing much of anything. It's not a TV show. They're just like, for a few minutes. But the thing here is that I'm going back to the important thing. Build your library. have a purpose, make your segment short. No, don't, do 3-minute segments, 5-minute segments, 1-minute video tips. Make everything, short. And once we start going into module 7, you learn how to use the XSplit. It's going to be very easy for you to click through to use the show, to turn it into shows. You'll see. I'm not going to go into that right now. But build your library and right from the beginning, have different folders. It would be 30-second video tips under a particular topic. Go into folder under folder. Build a library. Interviews, on a particular topic. Interviews with CPAs, interviews with financial planners, interviews with whatever. So you have everything categorized, because once you get this going, you're going to have to hand it over to an editor or an assistant who's going to take these videos and put them right into the, let's say, XSplit, and just click, and produce your 30-minute show. And the beauty of this is that because you have them in different modules, you can keep replacing them. You can take the same 3-minute interview and put it in another TV show with different experts, or with different exercises. So the same segment can be used over and over and over again, but it's not going to happen if it's not easily identified. So right from the beginning, do it right, create a folder for your TV show. And again, just categorize them, be diligent about this. It will save you a lot of time, and the videos are going to be a lot more useful because they're easy to find and implement. The descriptions have to be there properly, so you know what it is. It's not video number 3, financial planner. Who is it? What's so special about him? You may want to have a note next to it about what you liked about it or whatever.
Right.
Okay. So just a little bit of diligence in the beginning is going to make a big difference, especially for you now, because you have so many ideas, so many things you can do. Variety is very good. Variety is very good, but if you manage it, so just do it. Go with all of them. They're very good. Well, once you put the ideas down, let's decide, okay, first, the one that has the biggest chance of going big, and the one that's going to be the easiest to produce. You want to produce the biggest impact, maximum impact, minimum headache. Start with that, and then just keep tweaking it. Take one thing out, put something else there, and test it. So that's the way, because we don't know. I don't know what's going to work. They tell you, the audience tells you what's going to work. And that's why they spend a lot of money producing TV shows, and then it's on 1 or 2 episodes, and it's like taking off because nobody watches it. And in the meantime, they spend millions of dollars producing this thing because nobody knows. It's a surprise. So being flexible is going to make a big difference.
Yeah, and the other thing for me was, because I do try and keep up with the technology, of course, I don't know what platforms you're looking at, and I'm not overly happy, obviously, with Google. And that's going to disappear shortly. But Blue Jeans, and combine that with either Facebook Live or any multitude of those things that are now coming out, is going to give it huge reach. Plus the recording side of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm actually testing different ones, so right now we're testing Zoom for the last couple of weeks. I've already reached out to Blue Jeans, and as a matter of fact, got an email from them. I'll be having a conversation with. I already had a conversation with them, asked about a few things. But so thank you. Yeah, I'm testing. We'll be sharing the information. So by the time we get to the production, module, there'll be more. And by the way, all of you hear about something. Technology is changing so quickly. This is about all of us collaborating and sharing what we have. So if you hear of something that's working really well, like Marie had mentioned something that's in the UK that could work beautifully, let's test and share, because it's more than I can have. There aren't enough hours in a day for me to be testing all of them. So it has to be a collaborative effort. Okay, so are we good?
Yep.
Okay, so we're just about at that time. We only have 2 minutes left to wrap up the show, and I do not see any questions from the audience. Barbara, we don't have any questions, right? I don't even know where to look. So you are the question. You're responsible for the questions. Well, anyways, so if you're watching this, please go ahead and send in your questions. Okay, send in your questions, and that will be doing a question of the week kind of thing when we open the show. If you don't, I know a lot of you who are watching, you probably have questions. You're not on live to be asking them, but you can actually email your questions. Even if it's with past episodes, go ahead and send it, because I can actually answer your questions under the recording that's posted of the past episodes. Okay, so it's never too late to ask questions. Okay, everybody. Well, thank you, all of you, my cast members. Great job, full on participation. Love the questions. Love what you're doing. I'm very excited. And all of you who are joining us live, thanks for coming back again. And those of you who are audience members, participants, and you are working right along with us. Now, I am looking for a group, a case study actually we're doing. The results, what happens when I work with people one-on-one, and what happens when you're working on your own, just following the program, using the same tools as the cast members. And actually, I can be featuring you, later on, and saying, you're working on your own, this is what you did, showcasing you and your show, giving you a little bit more exposure, and also encouraging people to actually go ahead and work on their own. And we're actually even talking about putting together individual mastermind groups, so you can be interacting with each other while we're interacting with the cast members online. So it's, a lot of things are in place. So get involved, ask the questions. We're all here to support you. And most of all, do your homework. Okay. All right, everybody. I'm Ann DeVere, and this has been another episode of Turn Your Show into Cash. This is Module 3, all about blueprinting your show. Okay. This is the foundation we're building, and we're on a launch pad. All right. Until next time, next week, we're going to be developing your message. It's all about everything you need to know to get yourself out there in a way where people understand what it is that you're saying and why you're saying it and why they should come back and listen to you. Okay, so until next time, everybody, again, I'm Ann DeVere, and this has been another episode of Turn Your Show into Cash. Bye-bye, everybody.